Today I want to take you through the process of building a guitar pedal. And this project was suggested to me quite a few months ago by a friend online who saw me building my guitar out of a pallet and suggested that I might like to get into making pedals. So I thought I'd give it a try. So what I decided to do is use this post. It's a post that you make your deck out of, and lop it off and hollow it out and use that as the case, and just plop that little DIY circuit in there and see how it sounds. So let's go through the process right now. Here's the circuit on a little breadboard, and I'll go into that in a little detail later, but first I wanted to talk about where I got it. It was by a fella who did a website called barbarock.com. He provides a very clear list of materials and a schematic drawing and even a little diagram for how to make this. That is that. And what is this? Oh, this is a little pinout describing the major component of this. So just to give you an idea what a phaser is, basically it takes a signal like a tone from a guitar, let's say, and puts it through the amplifier section. And then this is the phase stage where it takes that signal and splits it up between two of these little circuits that amplify it. And those two circuits are modified by this LFO, this little oscillator down here. So you see down here it says LFO and LFO. So those go down to there. And in the end it goes out to the speaker where you hear it. So it makes a very interesting phase effect. And maybe I'll stop right here and demonstrate what it should sound like. And now we're back just to look at what's going on. So, basically what I have here is two little chips called a TLO72. And inside of those two chips are the circuit that's described by this little triangle. The signal comes in through this jack, and this I will discuss. But first, it goes out that jack, and this little potentiometer, which on the outside of any guitar pedal, you'll see this little knob sticking up, and that is what the knob was, what the little turny thing gets stuck on. But I turn this to adjust how much phasing goes on, and this little pot over here just fine tunes it to find this little sweet spot where there's zero phasing, and right in sort of like the center is the spot where you get all the voltage that travels through these two chips at just the right spot to go through these two little transistors right here that interact with each other, so that it takes the signal that's split up and one sends it just slightly faster or slower than the other, and that's what causes the two signals to phase together. So I will, after this stage, I just put this together. I need to test it first. So I did this, and I need to test it. to make sure that the guy put this diagram together correctly. I trust this guy because he's done so much work, and it's very clear on here and on the video. He demonstrates exactly putting all these components on and watching it work. So he is a trustworthy source. However, I have to say, going back to this little stinking wire here, I really hate using breadboards because testing it, these little wires sometimes don't touch, or sometimes they touch each other, or sometimes the little wire gets pulled out when you're fiddling around with the jack and you don't see it, and you don't get the right signal, and you think I've done it wrong, or this guy made the wrong thing, and it's a very frustrating experience. However, in the end, I'm glad that I do manage to fight my way through a breadboarding phase, because now I'm sure that this circuit works, so that when I take all these little components and I solder them onto this little board here, this proto board, if it doesn't work, I'll know that it's because I did something wrong, or there's a dry solder joint or something like that. I'm confident that this works. Getting it onto this is the second phase, and then putting it into this homemade box that I chiseled out of the end of a 4x4 post. If it makes it into there and it makes a sound, then it's a successful project. But until then, we just don't know. But first, I'm going to take my little oscillator and I'm going to input a sine wave from my function generator and stick my oscillator on the other end and make sure that the signal's coming through cleanly, and when I twiddle this knob that I can create that phasing effect. So well, I tried to translate this layout to a smaller board, and it doesn't look like it's going to fit easily without a whole bunch of strategizing. So I decided I would use this board, and I made a little diagram of where all these pieces will fit on this board evenly. So I'm going to use this diagram to populate this board with those pieces, and I'm going to do it on my nifty little, I guess you'd call it an octopus. It's these are magnetized posts that you can stick on here, and most things have a little hole here that you can stick the post into. This one only has 2 holes. So I guess these two edges are just going to be on the side like that. Doesn't matter. So I'm just going to stick those on there, and these little hands, well, I might just actually use these little hands. These are magnetic also. Actually, it's easier to do it like this, because then I can take a part like this and stick it right in here like that. Actually, I would be doing it from the other side because I like to put it through this side and then solder that side. So that's what I'll be doing. And I won't do this on camera because I like to have elbow room and I get a little stage fright. So next time you see this, this will be on there. Well, here's the completed project. As I did it, I realized I probably could have fit it onto the smaller board because there's lots of empty space here that I could have compacted. And actually I started on this end, and as you see, it's all kind of vacant over here, and it gets more and more populated over here as I figured out how to conserve space. So this will be a good test run. There's another plan for these where instead of just 2 stages of the phaser, they just keep adding more phasers, and it gets a richer tone. So I might try that. Anyway, I will plug this in, actually connect it to my benchtop power supply. That's negative, that's positive. See, there's a little positive right there. And this is, I've already started to plug the end jack into my oscillator, my function generator. Oh, you know, I mentioned that the other day. I mean, yesterday when I was doing this. This is the function generator, and this, right now it's set for 333 hertz, which is going to send out a nice low tone, and I can do, you know, any hertz. It goes up to megas too. And oh, maybe I'll do a, yeah, I like the sine wave. So we'll do 459 hertz. That's a little bit above an A. So I talked about that as the oscillator, and I also spoke about measuring it with my oscillator, and I meant oscilloscope. That's that little guy right there. But we are going to listen to it. So I've plugged it in to an amplifier. So let me put this on my tripod. Oh, has anybody, are you like me? Do you save the ends of your clippings? I put them in this little drawer here. See, just in case I need little trimmings. Drop a note in the comments if you save your trimmings. All right. Forgot to plug it in. Well, we should be hearing something, and we're not. That's discouraging. Maybe I need an oscilloscope. Let's try. So right now we're seeing a straight line on this oscilloscope, and we don't like that. We want to see wavy lines. So when I touch it directly to the sine wave that we created with the function generator, we can see it's sending out. It is sending out a nice, pretty little sine wave, and that's going to here. There. All right. Well, as I said, this section of my workshop is very cramped, so I need room to spread my wings. So I'm going to pause until I find out what the problem is. All right, I think I found the culprit. This little purple wire is going to this row. See if you remember on the back here, these are rows of, they're strips, called a strip board. So it's going on this row when in fact it should be going down the row next to it. So I'm going to turn off my power supply. Stop poking around with metal. turn off power supply, and desolder this wire from the incorrect row, put it in the right one. Yeah, just like that. Okay. And then if I can find it there. It's right there. A little blob of solder on my soldering iron. Where'd it go? There it is. Okay. Additionally, I've been going through each one of these little strips with this blade, and just running the blade along the strip in case there's a little extra solder oozing over from one strip to the other, causing a bridge. We don't like bridges in this territory. We only like isolated rivers. A land isolated from the other land of electrons. So let's see if that works. Okie dokie. I'm keeping it above all this stuff because I don't want the bottom to short out on the metal beneath it. Okay. Well, I'm not sure if I did it right, but I sure did change that waveform, didn't I? There's another wire loose. But look, I can change it to make it slow down or speed up. So, I don't know if that's the effect I wanted. It's an interesting effect. I'll just have to sit with this for a little while and think about whether I like that or not. Well, yeah, this will be the last adjustment. I've just changed this sweep. You see how the waveform is kind of sweeping up and down a little slower, and it's a little more graceful. I also added this little tremolo circuit here. You can see this is the rate at which it's trembling, and I'm just using a homemade vac tool. If I wanted to increase the rate of trembling, just turn this little knob here and see it goes really fast, really slow. So that's causing this waveform. Come on, focus on it. There we go. To tremble ever so much. And I'll just turn up the... It doesn't sound good here, but... Yeah. I'll slow that down a little bit, or speed it up. Right. So, yeah, I think that's pretty good. I'll just put this in a case and play an instrument through it. It'll sound much better than this oscillator. Right. Stage 3. Well, I started to assemble this and forgot to turn on the camera. So I will catch you up. What's happened is that turns out this little section here is too small to fit this circuit board, which I kind of thought it would be. So I just lopped off another section and hauled them both out and stuck them together. So it's still too big. It's not going to fit in there cleanly. And so also I removed this because it was just adding too much bulk. And when you stick your knobs on here, they stick out the bottom and touch the electronic components and short them out, and that's not good. So it's bad. And we'll make this into a separate little effects pedal. Or maybe I was thinking maybe I'll just put this in behind a panel and stick it on my modular synthesizer. Anyway, that's for another project. This is the current project, and all that's left is to assemble it and play it. Well, it looks like I have one. This is the grounding cord for that little tremolo. Boop, there it goes. Right, so I made this panel, of course, and I'm going to cut to a scene where I make it. And here it is. So, you know, I was thinking about this as I was creating it. I might like to use some stamps. I'm going to do that. I'm going to stamp in the words in, out, and phase or something. I'm going to do that right now. It's very faint. There we go. In, out, and phase. And I didn't show the process, but basically you just use one of these little stamps. This is the E. Focus on the E, my friend. There. And you hold it above the metal and you give it a little whack. And then it's in there. So next time I'll show the whole process. Uh-oh. Oh, look, I didn't cut it right. Let's take a second to trim that off. Just that much. There. Okay. There we go. Nice. These go in here. Excellent. Now, the only thing left is to make sure that I didn't squash this down on top of the circuit board and short circuit anything. So I'll plug it in and play it for just a few moments. Where'd it go? There it goes. I have already programmed in a little drum pattern on this drum machine. So just want to make sure that that's still in memory. I think that's right. Okay. Okay, so apparently back here I can plug that to synchronize with another electronic instrument, and I want to plug it into that. So I'm gonna see if that works. I've never tried it. Let's see how that goes. And how about I plug it in there. Let's see. Okay. That's right. All right.